Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Like all of you, I have sat here for several hours, and I respect the colleagues that have gotten up and spoke, and I respect the issues that they've raised. Some think Senate Bill 1 goes too far, while others think it doesn't go far enough, and some want to continue the status quo and do nothing. But to do nothing would be irresponsible. Some talked about this being a 100-year-old system. When demographic studies were different, people didn't live as long, and now we're trying to use the same system here in the 21st century. But the reality is the pension problem is not a Republican-Democrat issue. It's not a male-female issue, as some alluded to earlier. It's an issue about finances. It's a major financial issue. Senate Bill 1 is a compromise of several years' worth of discussion, hearings, and debates, despite some people who felt we didn't have enough hearings. Frankly, I don't think there's another piece of legislation that's had more hearings. Well, maybe there's one. But this is about a financial issue. But Mr. Speaker, I rise because there's nothing that's going to drive school board budgets or our state budgets faster into debt, and hopefully not into irreversible debt, than this if we don't take it on and do something today. But more importantly, Mr. Speaker, I rise because after sitting here for several hours, there's one group of constituencies I've heard very little about and have not heard much mention of, and that is the citizens of Pennsylvania, the 11.5 million other people in Pennsylvania that are not in public pension systems. The reality is we are very blessed with the jobs that we have and those that are in public service, because at one time the wages weren't as good, and so the pensions are set as an offset. When I go through my town or I drive down here and I see the laborers working on building houses, I listen to the wonderful, sweet nursing assistants who take care of my parents as they age. And I talk to a lot of my nonprofit friends that work in jobs that don't even know what a pension is because they don't have one. They don't have a retirement system. And for 4, 5, 6 consecutive years, they've not had a pay raise. Their milk costs have gone up. Their fuel costs have gone up. I've heard people talk about this thing like it was only them that were going to benefit. We're talking, yes, about some very good 800,000 plus, give or take, of retirees and state employees like ourselves and people in public schools and people that work at our public universities. But who is going to speak for the 11.5 million other people that, guess what, still have to pay higher property taxes when their school property taxes go up to fund these issues? Who's going to talk about all those wage earners, regardless if they're making minimum wage or $8 an hour or $10 an hour? Those clerks that I see working at some of our sheet stores who've gone back to work at 70 to 75 years old to help supplement their income. Because guess what? It is their PIT and their checks that are going to pay yours and my pensions and the other 875,000 people that balance out to 12.6 million people in Pennsylvania. Senate Bill 1 is a lot better than it was when it came over here. This is about trying to tell our state employees and those people within the system that we want to protect your retirement and make sure there is something there. People don't think governments can go bankrupt. Well, I tell you, look across our own state, there are some small municipalities that are already suffering that. You only have to look across the waterways into Greece and what's happening in these other countries because of irresponsible financial planning. Senate Bill 1 is the only bill before us, and it is the right thing to do at the right time, because 11.5 million people of the 12.6 million in this state are going to pay one way or another as they watch the lack of their own retirements or their own retirement systems failing. They will pay if we don't correct this problem. And I think we owe it to all the citizens we represent, not just our colleagues that work within public service. Mr. Speaker, I thank you and the members for their time.